Hey, Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box Podcast. My name's Gary.
I'm Harry.
I'm Matt.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Jordan.
And welcome to the August Roundtable.
Yay!
Woohoo!
Hey, Who fans, we hope you're having a cracking week, or a cracking month, should I say, and we hope you've all done something Doctor Who.
Related.
Oh, Harry.
Related.
Harry's in there like the Flash. Nice one, dude. This is the August Roundtable. Yeah, it's been a regular month, which is a nice thing to say. We haven't done anything like, we can't do it this week, or we can't do it that month, or whatever. As usual, these guys, these awesome writing team of the Big Blue Box, have showed up to give us their thoughts on Doctor Who. And we are joined this week by our good friend Harry. How are you, dude?
I'm all right, thank you, Gary. I unfortunately haven't had much time recently to do many Doctor Who related things, which is very heartbreaking and boring, I must admit. But something lovely did arrive in the post. It was my season 1 steelbook. I was and ahhing about this. I was thinking, should I pay £60 for a average at best season, which is all available on iPlayer for free and the special features? And I was like, yeah, it looks pretty. So yeah, I guess I am.
You know, it's only got about 6 hours of special features, though. I mean, for £60, you're paying an awful lot of money.
Yeah,
it's not £60. It wasn't £60.
It was $59.99.
No.
From Amazon, HMV, Zavvi, all of those places. It was, yeah. I mean, It would have been lovely if it was about £10-20 less, but yeah, like I say, it looks cool. I mean, that's the only reason why I buy these Blu-rays anyway nowadays. I don't have time to watch them all. They keep churning them out, and I just want them as shelf pieces, really, because they all look pretty. But yeah. So I'll be diving into that soon. Again, who knows if my opinions will change on the episodes? Maybe I'll enjoy Space Babies. I probably won't. Yeah,
maybe. But if you find value in that, Harry, then fair play. If that's brought you happiness, then I love how Maria's just straight in. What the bleed now have you bought that for?
I did actually
just
think that, when I saw Harry with the steelbook, I thought, Harry, what are you doing? I mean, you can buy the Blu-ray classic series, the ones they're bringing out, and they're less. I think they're 55, something like that.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, so I collect the standard editions, and the season 22 box set just came out finally for us peasants, and that has so much on it. It's like obviously remastered episodes, and all of the behind the sofas and the old commentaries and documentaries, all that stuff, and it's less money for way more content. So it's slightly ridiculous, of course it is, but that's why they sell this stuff and they charge it at this price, because they know that sad people like me are going to buy it.
Yeah. You're not sad, Harry.
Thank you, Gary.
Not
I was very happy when this arrived through the letterbox, I'll tell you that.
Good. That's good. Like I said, if you're happy with that purchase, you carry on. You rock that. You get that Blu-ray straight in the bloody player. You get the popcorn out, a couple of beers, and you enjoy Doctor Who. Who's to take that away from you?
Exactly.
Nobody. I'm glad you're doing okay, dude. Matt, I was going to say you old bugger then, but you're younger than all of us, I believe. How are you doing, buddy?
I don't feel younger, I'll be honest. But no, I am doing very well, thank you, Gary. Pretty much the same opening as Harry, really. I've done boring adult stuff all month and haven't had the chance to do anything fun Doctor Who related, which is really abysmal, really. I've normally got something to waffle on about. However, I would just say about these steelbooks, because I can confirm, Harry, you are not sad, because I have done exactly the same thing. And if two of us have done it, then we can't be sad, can we?
Let's start the overpriced steelbook fan club.
Exactly. They look so nice on the shelf. You can't miss one. Apart from Series 9, because nobody in their right mind would ever pay that for the steelbook.
Steady on, come on.
Whoa, you don't like Series 9? We need to have a conversation.
No. I like Series 9. But have you seen... It's the holy grail of Doctor Who steelbooks. It's so rare that to buy it, it's about £600.
Oh.
That's what I meant.
Oh.
Sorry for the confusion. That is what I meant.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
now that is overkill. 600 quid.
Yeah.
That's,
But thinking about the price, because yes, when I saw that price, the mind boggled, and you just think, how are they expecting to sell all of these copies for, let's be honest, a mixed bag of a season? But then thinking about it, if you're getting a steelbook now, in this day and age, you're talking minimum $29.99, most likely $34.99 just for a movie. And that's just one movie. And you've got 8 episodes,
True.
Plus a festive, plus all of this extra stuff that they've done. And the extras, for once, haven't been skimped on. I know it's all available on the iPlayer, but it does look better on the discs and the steelbook itself. So yeah, I can kind of get my head around the price, but it might also just be me kind of justifying it to myself. So who knows? And the only other thing I did was a big shout out to the Doctor Who Appreciation Society, who have recently opened an eBay shop and were selling some very cool autographs. And the one I managed to bag was the Big Finish Day multi-signed photograph from 2024, which,
oh, nice.
Yeah, I've absolutely fallen in love with. It's got 18 signatures on it from various people through Big Finish. I won't read them all, but you've got Wendy Padbury, India Fisher, Tim Treloar and Sadie Miller and loads of them. And yeah, absolutely love it. I'm just waiting to get a really nice frame for it. But yeah, thank you for the Doctor Who Appreciation Society, if I can put my teeth in, for making that possible.
Nice. That sounds good, dude. So I noticed Harry's eyebrows went up to his hairline when you mentioned they've got an eBay shop. You've just dropped 60 quid, dude, on the steelbook. Let's keep the wallet in check. You're going to Hooverville soon. You're going to need some cash. Yeah. Harry's off to Hooverville.
Fair. Yes. So next month's roundtable, I definitely will have something to talk about. That's for sure. It's going to be a spenny day, but a good day, I'm sure. So if you are at Hooverville, then say hello.
Go and say hello to Harry. You'll recognise him. Good-looking chap, glasses, bit of stubble. Yeah. Maria, how have you been? Have you done anything Doctor Who related?
I haven't been anywhere. It's been pretty quiet, to be fair. There seems to be a bit of a lull at the moment. I missed out on getting tickets for the BFI event in September, which I was a bit gutted about, because they're showing is it Dragonfire? And I think it's Dragonfire. And I'm really disappointed to kind of miss out on that, because I really would have liked to have seen that on the big screen. And obviously Sophie and Sylvester are going to be there, so that would have been nice. But yeah, the tickets it went mad again on the tickets. Oh, have I?
Maria has left us.
Oh, hang on. Oh, okay.
We got exactly 10 minutes in before the Cybernets decided to invade.
Connections,
We did.
Connections.
It was going swimmingly. Right. Let me mute Maria while she gets her internet sorted out. Jordan, how have you been?
I have been all right. Yeah. Like everybody else, I've not really had any chance to do anything Doctor Who related. But, yes, no, I'm all right. Yeah.
Good. Other than getting absolutely... Yeah.
Yeah, you have all commented that you did see my photo on Facebook.
Yes.
It was the Prosecco. I was happy to be there. That's what it was.
Jordan was a little bit drunk recently, which is... some of you who know Jordan will be like, well, yeah, it's Jordan. Yeah. One day we will live stream this, so you'll be able to see on video. Typically, Jordan's got a...
Like a fish bowl.
Let's just call... Yeah, let's call it a fish bowl. Full of gin, ice, whatever. I think it's just so he can get through these recording sessions. I think that's what it is.
Whenever I make them for my friends and they're like, Jordan, how much gin have you put in there? There's like that much gin and that much lemonade. And I'm like, well, it's fine.
Well, you're only young once, aren't you?
Exactly. And I forget that I'm 6'4", so there's a lot more of me to fill up than there is my friends. So...
Crikey.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, yeah, thankfully, Jordan is sober with us.
I'm all right.
Yeah, this evening. He's good. Right, Maria will join us at some point again, I'm sure. Those of you who are long-time listeners of the Roundtable episodes, you'll know this by now. Her internet lasts for, as Jordan said, approximately 10 minutes, and then she drops out. Then she's back again, so I'm sure she'll be back. Cool. Right. The theme / topic of this month's Roundtable, as there's nothing new going on with Doctor Who, we haven't got anything to review, nothing to really talk about. We're going to dive into... We're going to talk about companions, whether that's old, new, classic, new Who, spelt Nuwho. And we're going to... Listen, all of our listeners right now are like this. Yeah, where's the pause button? Where's the backwards button? Go and listen to a different podcast. There we go. Right, perfect. You're back with us. So, Maria put this actually. I always ask this a lot. I say, right, what do we want to talk about on the round table, especially if there's nothing new to talk about? And these guys are generally very good at this. They're like, yeah, talk about this, isn't this? Maria had a good one. She says, why don't we discuss which companions outstayed their welcome? And which ones should have had more time on the show and how they could have been developed. So I've got a couple actually. I've got. I'll let you guys go first, but I've got a couple. I've got one from Classic Who and one from newer Doctor Who. But this is a fascinating subject because companions can be just as divisive as the Doctor in terms of either how they've been written on the show or the actor or actress themselves who have played that character. It can be a bit of a anyone that's been at an event or down the pub talking about Doctor Who and somebody mentions a companion and somebody else rolls their eyes, it's like, oh, here we go, you're going to roll your eyes, are you? What's your problem with so and so? Spit it out. And then that's like, 2 hours gone, you've argued about something. So it can be a bit of a divisive thing. So let's do the companion that we felt outstayed their welcome first. Let's do the controversial ones first, and let's get the listener also reaching for that pause button / I'm out of here. So who wants to go first? Let's go to Matthew. Matthew, in your opinion, which companion outstayed their welcome and why?
Oh, I'm not going to be liked for this one, but I'm going to say Yasmin Khan. The thing is, I really liked Yaz, but she just stayed for too long.
I love that. Who would you see? Who outstayed their welcome? Yaz. I really liked Yaz, but yeah, you got to give us more than that.
Yeah, no worries. I feel her story started off, especially the first episode, I thought, right, we're going to get this really cool, headstrong companion where she's also a police officer. She's going to put the Doctor in her place, and she's going to, be this really, really strong character going forward. And then it's like, fast forward to episode 2, and she has just become a soundboard to all of 13's questions, or then asking her own to give exposition, which I felt was such a letdown, because the character and the actress I was both really intrigued about, and she did. I felt she got better during Flux, when, ironically, she spent time apart from Jodie and had her own sort of adventure with Dan and I forget his name now, but is it McNeely or someone like that?
Kevin McNally?
That's it. Yes, when they went off themselves, I thought she became the leader of the group, and you got to see this strong personality coming through instead of just like I say, like a sounding board, which I thought was just such a shame. And if they were going to do that, I felt, do it for a season, tops 2, and then bring in somebody else. If you have run the character out of steam, maybe bring in something else for fresher ideas.
Okay, but overall, you quite liked her.
She had her moments.
Okay.
I am excited to see her on Big Finish, or hear her on Big Finish.
And yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question. As you've mentioned the character of Yaz, are you going to listen to follow-up adventures with her?
Well,
and Jodie,
if the 6th Doctor on Big Finish is anything to go by, which I believe it 100% is, they have this fairy dust that can magically make a character that's been on the show and has been treated badly suddenly everyone's favourite audio to buy. Some of the 6th Doctor stories are amazing, and it's given Colin Baker the Doctor he deserved after being so mistreated during the TV show. So if anybody can bring 13 and Yaz into, I don't want to sound mean, but good writing, then it's going to be Big Finish. I have really high hopes. And yeah, I will be. Gotcha. I definitely will be buying it.
Okie dokie. All right, so Yaz, you felt outstayed her welcome a wee bit. Okay. Jordan, what about you? Same question.
Are we just doing one? We're just picking one.
However many you feel.
Okay.
This is, we don't want to be here all night. I don't know how.
That's fine. Okay, so she's probably on other people's lists. Modern series, Clara.
Bugger.
Okay.
Worked fine with Matt Smith. Worked fine for that first season with Peter Capaldi. Should have gone. Should have stayed gone. Shouldn't have come back. Bill should have had 2 seasons. And this is going to be controversial. This is a very controversial opinion.
I know who's coming. I know.
Classic series. I'm gonna say it, and she's everybody's favourite, but Sarah Jane.
Sarah Jane. Why did you say that? I knew you were going to say Sarah Jane.
John Pertwee, she's amazing. Absolutely fantastic. First series with Tom Baker, she's brilliant. And Harry Sullivan, brilliant. They work really well together. When you watch it, they're Sarah and the Doctor's time together the whole way through. By the time you get to about halfway through that second series with Tom Baker, she just starts to become a bit of a scream queen. And there's nothing there, nothing going on. And I mean, it in a way, it's kind of telling because Elizabeth Sladen did want to go at the end of that series, that maybe she'd started to notice that Sarah's character had gone, not downhill, but that's what she started off as this journalist, this sort of Charlie's Angels inspired sort of journalist and all this, that and the other. And then she just became a scream queen by the end of it. I just think Louise Jameson would have worked a lot better. Leela would have worked a lot better in some of those stories that she had. And I feel so bad because then when she came back with David Tennant, she was fantastic. K9 and Company, say what you like about that. I think she's brilliant in that. 5 Doctors, School Reunion, her own series. I think she was fantastic. But yeah, just I think she'd stayed just that little bit too long with the 4th Doctor. And now I'm going to have people angrily messaging me on Twitter, being like, "What are you talking about?"
You're in for it now.
Yeah.
You'll be for it. You will. So she left. So when did she leave? Then was it season 15?
Season
14.
14, I think.
What was her last story?
Hand of Fear.
The Hand of Fear,
which isn't
Hand
a
of
great
Fear,
story anyway. But know. But I just think some of those stories Louise Jameson would have worked better in.
So what story? So if she left, so the Hand of Fear was quite early on in season 14.
Yeah.
What story previous to that then do you think she should have left? What would have been her good sort of last story? Like Pyramids of Mars, maybe? Brain of Morbius?
The first one that came into my head then was Brain of Morbius. Because, I mean, what have you got? You got Master of Mandragora, Hand of Fear, Seeds of Doom.
There's another one in there.
Something like the Android
Invasion. Yep.
Or maybe if she'd have even left in that one.
Yeah, that would. Any of those would have been.
Yeah, but I just feel like Louise Jameson would have suited. Leela would have suited some of those stories a bit better than Sarah. But
oh dear. So all right. So Clara from the modern stuff has outstayed her welcome, and on a bit of a bombshell, Sarah Jane Smith, you feel outstayed her. Cool. All right then.
I'm just
Harry,
going to go and hide now. But
Harry, what are your thoughts on this, bud? You can pick one or a few. It's up to you. Whatever you feel.
Well, I wrote down 3 names, and those 3 names have already been mentioned. So, yeah. So, yes, Yaz, far too long, hanging around, just kind of doing nothing. And you think of all of the great love stories, right? Like, they're really like, a lot of time and effort has been put into them, but they just kind of slapped on that 13 and Yaz romance arc in the last few episodes, and it just felt like an afterthought. And and that just kind of further illustrates like how much that character overstayed her welcome, because they were like, oh, what do we do with her, kind of thing. It just felt like Mandip Gill, Jodie Whittaker were having a great time acting together, and that's the only reason why they were hanging around, really. As for Clara, it felt like she should have left at the end of series 8, and then in series 9, like, they kind of didn't have anything to do with her. Like, they kind of ran with the whole she really wants to be the Doctor story arc, but I don't feel like that's enough to kind of carry a character arc kind of through a whole series. And also there were whole episodes where she wasn't even there, like in the middle of the series. So I think that was, again, Jenna Coleman was probably having such a great time on the show that she just wanted to stick around. And I feel like maybe it should be more in the writer's ballpark than the actors, of like whether like a character should stay on, because if it makes sense for the story, then that's great. But if it doesn't make sense for the story and the character just the actor wants to stick around, then the writers are having to fumble and go, okay, what do we do with this character that's just kind of ran its course? It has a similar vibe to when characters would just leave like for whole chunks of the story in the 60s because the actor went on holiday. It has that, it takes you out of it, is what I feel. And yeah, as for Sarah Jane,
Gotcha.
Jordan, I'm going down with you because you're absolutely right. Like, it got towards the end and the character felt very empty, and I don't think enough people really mention that with Sarah Jane. I think the character's legacy is, Sarah Jane Adventures, and and yeah, she's absolutely wonderful, and Elizabeth Sladen is absolutely wonderful in that role, and rightly so. That should be her legacy, but yeah, unfortunately, in my opinion, she kind of just becomes a generic screaming companion towards the end of her tenure for me. So had she left a little bit earlier, that would have been a better run in the classic series for that character, in my opinion. But yeah, those are my thoughts on those, because Matt and Jordan had already picked them. So yeah.
Okie dokie. Wow.
That's two of
These
us who
are-
are going to be getting bricks through the window now. Ben?
Yeah.
Well, luckily I don't have X, so I'm going to avoid those pitchforks.
I'm just Googling where I can buy
Okay.
bricks.
Yeah.
You don't know where I live, Matt.
Right.
That's what you think.
To be honest with you guys, I was expecting a couple of other names to be thrown in there. None of them have been mentioned as yet. Let's go to Maria. If you're okay, Maria, we'll get your thoughts on a companion, either classic, modern, or both, that you feel outstayed. They're welcome.
Okay, so I mean, obviously, I think people have mentioned the modern ones that I would have probably mentioned, which is Yaz and Clara. I think they both stayed far too long. I mean, Clara had more deaths than hot dinners, I suppose. So yeah, I'd probably go. Well, she did, didn't she? And it's kind of like you kept thinking, well, how many lives has she got? Because obviously she had deaths as a nanny. She had death as a Dalek. She then had numerous deaths as a modern companion. I mean, it kind of got ridiculous at one point, and it would have been nice to maybe see Bill come in maybe a bit earlier, because I liked Bill. I thought she was a breath of fresh air, actually, and I would have quite liked to have seen her maybe do more than one season, because I think that partnership really worked, because the Doctor was a kind of mentor to Bill, and I don't think Clara was kind of the type of character that wanted mentorship from the Doctor. I think she wanted to be his equal. So yeah, if Bill had come in probably a bit sooner, I think it would have benefited the series. But I kind of went classic Who really when I was thinking about the subject, because I thought there's quite a few companions I think that maybe needed more development. I mean, I would have loved to have seen Susan maybe have more development. I mean, I can understand why, Carol Ann Ford maybe decided to leave. Her character wasn't being developed, and she was kind of stuck in that role as a teenage girl. And, she was meant to be I suppose the audience identifier for the kids and stuff like that, but I can understand why she left, but I would have loved to have seen Susan developed a lot more. I mean, that relationship with the First Doctor is a really unique one, being his granddaughter, and I'm going to assume that she is his granddaughter, because canon is so kind of mixed up now. You don't know what to believe anymore, but I'm going to take it on face value that she is his granddaughter. And I would have loved to have seen that developed a bit more. I mean, we saw touches of it in the Dalek invasion of Earth, where she was growing up. And I would have loved to have just seen that. And I think there was, in the censor rights as well, you could see her, she was getting a bit more independent, but I would have loved to have seen that a bit more. And, it would have been interesting to see if she'd actually been given the Cathy Gale kind of role that I think she'd been promised, that she was going to be more like an Avengers girl. I mean, I don't know whether she actually looks like an Avengers girl. I mean, to be fair, because she doesn't. She's quite small and petite, and but I would have loved to have seen her kind of throwing a few karate kicks and just seeing seeing how she could have and using some of that extrasensory perception that she had as well, because obviously being from Gallifrey, they have the Doctor's got the power to influence people, when he hypnotizes them, and there's certain Gallifreyan traits that I would have liked to have quite seen from her, because she was quite mysterious in the first episode. So she's a character I think could have done with more development. I would have loved to have seen Stephen developed a bit more as well. Stephen Taylor. I mean, I love Peter Purvis, and it's such a shame that a lot of the episodes that he's in don't exist anymore. I mean, we've got a few of them, but I would have, and I think that's part of it as well, because the episodes are missing. It's, you're always thinking, well, what would his character be like, if you could see those episodes. So I would have loved to have seen him developed a bit more. I mean, I haven't listened to the Savages for ages, but I would have liked to have seen him in the show a bit longer. And I think what's amazing is, a lot of these classic characters, especially in the first two Doctor eras, they weren't with the show actually that long, but because they were filming all year round, it feels like they've been there a lot longer, because of the amount of episodes that they created. But in reality, most of them were there year and a half, maybe 2 years. I think obviously some were there for 3. But yeah, I think the Stephen I would have liked to have seen developed a bit more. I mean, there wasn't enough kind of made of the fact that he was actually from the future. So I would have liked to have seen, because he came from a different century, it would have been interesting to kind of develop that a bit more and kind of see a bit more of where he came from. Maybe he had some, additional knowledge that he could have helped the Doctor with. I mean, I know that's not the setup of the show, but that would have been quite nice. I loved Ben and Polly together as well. I would have loved to have seen them in a few more stories as well. I think they were a really good kind of pairing together. And I think they worked with Patrick Troughton as well. So I would have liked to have seen them developed a bit more. I don't think they were in the show long enough. Now, a character that I think probably, I feel a bit mean saying this about outstaying their welcome, but I would probably say, I love this character, but Jamie McCrimmon. I know. I feel a bit bad saying it, but the only reason is I don't think Jamie actually developed that much over the 3 years that he was with the Doctor. Not really. I mean, he seemed very. I mean, there was a couple of stories at the beginning where he was kind of very nervous about what was happening in the TARDIS and where they were going and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think he actually, as a character, grew that much. I mean, it was a brilliant pairing, and I love seeing him and Patrick Troughton together, and I think they are very, very good. But in terms of Jamie's development as a character, he did kind of stand still. I think his reaction was very similar in most stories. I mean, he was very protective of the lady companions, Victoria especially, and and I think he was fond of Zoe as well. But aside from that, I mean, he was a good egg, and I love his character. But in terms of development, I don't think there was that much there. I mean, obviously his memory got wiped at the end of the War Games. But yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, there's probably other characters. I love that Jordan mentioned Sarah Jane, actually, because Sarah Jane is in an awful lot of stories. And I didn't catch everything that Jordan said, but I would probably say, to have a character in the show for 3 years, or that a significant length of time, you do have to see a bit of growth from them. And that's where kind of characters like Ace, who obviously came in at the end of the classic series was such a breath of fresh air, because she really grew. You saw that development in her so much, and it was fantastic to see. There's probably lots of other characters that I can pick as well, but I'm going to pass the floor over to someone else.
Yeah, Jordan basically said that he hated Sarah Jane with every bone in his body and wished that she'd never existed in Doctor Who. So that was nice. That was nice of him. Yeah. Right, so guys, I'm surprised big time that out of, especially from the classic era, with like the companions that you guys said have outstayed their welcome are Jamie, Sarah Jane, and so yeah, it's just the modern era stuff I can get. I'm on board with that. I agree with Clara, and she was around for too long and all that stuff. Nobody's mentioned Adric. No, nobody thought that Adric was a sort of a one-dimensional, spoilt, grumpy little brat in every episode. And didn't feel like he should have moved on. Now, Matthew Waterhouse, love you, dude. But yeah,
he was killed. You can't pick him. He was killed.
So,
he was
Clara
killed off.
was killed like 50 times.
They should have pushed him off the telescope rather than Tom Baker at the end.
Oh man! So if I had to pick some companions, then
the difference is Clara didn't die. She didn't die, really, did she? I mean, she kept coming back. It was kind of like you were just waiting for her to come back,
True.
And
it was a bit like
it was a pseudo.
I mean,
pseudo death.
Adric.
The thing
She was
is,
a bit like a one-woman Final Destination film, really. Well, how are they going to kill her this week? How is she going to die this week?
True.
I mean, it kind of devalued her character, really, because I think the impact of oh god, what was the name of the episode where she died?
Face the Raven.
What was it called? The Raven.
Face the Raven.
What was it called? Face the Raven. Thank you. I'm sorry. My brain isn't kind of in that era at the moment. And Face the Raven. I mean, it kind of devalued her death in that, because that was actually quite impactful when she died. I mean, okay, they did drag it out slightly a bit too long when she actually died, but in terms of what happened, I know, but if they'd kind of left that where it was and she hadn't died all the other times, it would have been quite impactful, because it was actually a good story and it was a good premise. But they kind of ruined it by bringing her back in Hellbent, and also obviously all the other times that she died. It just devalued her character. I mean, I enjoyed the little twists and turns at the time, but if you kind of consider it now, it takes the shine off her character a little bit, I think. Because if death is if death doesn't mean anything and people keep coming back, it doesn't have that impact, does it? True.
Yeah. Crikey. Right, so if I had to pick some companions, then I felt had overstayed their welcome, so Adric would be one of them. Just because it was the same. It was very similar writing for most of the episodes that he was in. I mean, great banter between him and Davison. Constantly picking at each other, and he's a bit of a spoilt little. So I just felt like that went on for half a season too long, I think. The other companion I felt hung around a bit too long. Papa Gillian Brown. Sorry, Perry fans. Soz about that. That was another character that I thought, and again, much love to Nicola Bryant, but that was a character that I thought was, again, like the same writing that you felt through every episode, oh, doctor, and then you're on to the next scene and the doctor does something crazy and she's like, oh, doctor, and then, the next bit and all that stuff. So that's another comparison. I just thought, come on. We've done this like a billion times. Like we've done it a billion times in one 4-part story, let alone, the other ones that she was rocking with.
So on point. Big Finish are going to be knocking at your door.
And a companion that I felt should have stayed around longer, I don't think got a fair crack of the whip, was Liz Shaw, in my humble opinion. Caroline John, I felt like she was a really good she had a really good dynamic with the Doctor because she wasn't a pushover, and she knew her chops scientifically, and she knew all of that stuff. I felt like she was a really good opposite. Like you guys mentioned at the end of Sarah Jane's run, she became a bit of a scream queen and just legged around and screamed a lot and didn't have much substance, I guess is what you're trying to say. Whereas I felt like Liz Shaw did have that. She had substance to her character, and she was articulate and intelligent, and I think she was only around for one season, I believe. I think she bowed out in, what was the last one? Must have been Inferno. So I think she left with Inferno, and she just wasn't around for that long. So I'd like to have seen her stick it out for a bit longer. She was very cool. And then in terms of New Who, NUWHO, I feel like a companion that should have stuck out for a bit longer is probably Rose. No, I'm joking. Of course, I jest. I would have liked to have seen Rory stick around. I felt like they could have done a really interesting twist where, I know the pond, it was very poetic and very lovely that those two bowed out together, but it would have been really cool if it was Amy that left the show and Rory stayed on for I think that would have been a really cool some adventures that him and Matt Smith's Doctor could have rocked with. And can you imagine Rory with Capaldi as well? That would have been such an interesting dynamic. It would have been so crazy and so interesting. So I felt like Rory should have stayed on for a bit, and they got rid of Karen Gillan so she could go and do.
Amy would have never let him out the front door. You know that, Gary. I mean, she was the one that wore the trousers in the relationship. He wouldn't have run if she hadn't said run.
But that's what's cool about it, though, because he was so, in Amy's orbit all the time. That's why it would have been cool for Amy have not to been around, and how he would have coped with being in dangerous situations or, whatever with the Doctor. So I felt like Rory should have stayed on a bit. Like at the very end, just let go of her hand and see you later, love. And that's it. Angels, you can take her, whatever. Yeah. Okay, so similar question then. And very, very, very quickly, and I know we're talking about companions. Are there any Doctors that you feel should have either bowed out sooner, or similarly should have stayed on for longer? This doesn't have to be too in depth, but I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. But yeah, and again, you can pick classic or modern, whatever. But Jordan, have you got any ideas on that one? He's going to say like Tom Baker. Yeah, Tom Baker should have gone with Liz Sladen after 2 weeks.
I mean, in all fairness, season 18 is not great. Neither is season 17. So maybe actually, go on then. We'll say Tom Baker. Maybe he should have gone. Maybe not around the time Liz Sladen went, but maybe at the end of the Key to Time, that, maybe they should have done something where the Key to Time kind of tries to destroy him and he has to change.
Someone's put 50p in Jordan. Here we go.
Which does actually tie with the companion that I would have liked to have stayed a bit longer, which was Mary Tam's Romana. I would have loved for her to have stayed a bit longer. I know that's kind of cheating because Lala Ward is technically the same character, but I think Mary Tam was better than Lala Ward. I don't know, modern series. I mean, I really liked Peter Capaldi, so I would have been perfectly happy to see him stay. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of Matt Smith, so he could have kind of gone whenever.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, Tom Baker could have gone earlier. Matt Smith should have gone earlier, and Peter Capaldi should have stayed. There you go.
Crikey. I'm so shocked. I'm really surprised.
I think this is the months talking.
That's cool,
That's
though.
what this is.
Yeah.
It's got its own little
You know
brain.
what?
and
That's
it's
fair.
like,
Don't worry, listeners. He is
Fair
actually
play.
delusional at the minute. None of this is true.
That's cool. That's cool. Your opinion is completely valid and taken on board. So, Harry, did you do your companion who you'd like to stick around more, or did we just do the one you'd not want to?
Yeah, we did do the one that I wanted to stick around more.
Can't remember.
So I wrote down...
Who would that
so
have been?
I wrote down 3 names. I'll rattle through them. So Bill, pretty obvious one. Great character. Pearl Mackie is infectious in that role. We needed more than one series of that character, ideally. I was laughing when you mentioned Adric, Gary, because I actually wrote down him as my companion that should have stayed on for longer. It was slightly a joke one. So basically what I was thinking is, you know how loads of people say that they wish that Jar Jar Binks was in more of the Star Wars movies because they wanted to see him like become a Sith Lord and have like a dark story arc.
Darth Jar
Jar, yeah. Well, I was thinking, wouldn't Adric be the most perfect character to, the most perfect companion to turn bad and to turn against the Doctor? Because they're always sparring, they're always arguing, they're always bickering non-stop.
Yeah, but we got that, didn't we? We got that with What's His Chops, didn't we? Matthew Strixon. What's his character's name?
Turlo.
Yeah, we had all that, didn't we?
Sort of in reverse order. Yeah, he started off being a bit of a psychopath, but then he came around a bit, didn't he? I suppose. But
did I say Matthew Strixon? It's Mark Strixon, isn't it? Sorry.
But yeah. Oh, and my third option was Katarina, which I probably arguably also quite an obvious one, because that was an interesting idea. Trojan servant out of time, thrown into this world of sci-fi madness. That would have been cracking. So I've seen more of that, but no, she's gone in a flash. So those would be my 3.
I see. Any Doctors you want to see get the chop, or any that you want to have been the Doctor longer?
Get the chop. I wouldn't say any of them, actually. I think if I were being really, really pedantic, it would Jodie Whittaker, because I didn't really like her. No, we like Jodie, but I just found that portrayal irritating. I'm sorry. I won't bash her.
I know some corners of the fandom that is worse than me saying Tom Baker should have gone earlier.
That is true.
You all need to watch your backs. Basically,
yeah, absolutely. But no, she I'll always say that Jodie had a lot of passion for the role and was a great ambassador for the show. So you can't take that away from her. But in terms of who should have stayed on for longer, I honestly would have loved to have seen a full series of the 14th Doctor, David Tennant, his second go around. By the time we reached that third special, I was gutted to be saying goodbye to him again. I just wanted another full series. I thought it would have been brilliant. And also, I would have liked Russell to have made more of this unique concept of the Doctor regenerating back into an incarnation of himself, but they just kind of went all wishy-washy and frankly stupid with it at the end. That would have been great. I feel like that was a real missed opportunity. As lovely as it was to us, to see David back as the Doctor again. So that's me.
Yep. Gotcha. Interesting. Shockingly interesting. Right, Matt, did you do your companion that you'd like to see have more time in the TARDIS?
No, but I do.
Oh, shoot.
Believe everybody is going to be of the same mind when I say that the person I would love to have seen more of, and everybody would agree, It's Chameleon. Got to be Chameleon. Got treated so unfairly. No, I'm joking.
Chameleon,
I am joking.
as in chameleon with a K?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm joking.
He's not joking.
I am. I'm not.
There was a sea of stunned faces when you said chameleon.
We all just looked like...
We were like, the one who
Are
got
you
shot
for
in the
real?
cupboard for about 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Chameleon.
No.
So who do you genuinely want to see have more time in TARDIS?
Oh, Wilfred Mott. Bernard Cribbins.
I think we all unanimously smiled.
That
then.
is the one that everybody would agree on. What?
Maybe not Maria. Maria's probably sitting there thinking, no way. Okay, Wilfred Mott.
What an
Okay.
absolute phenomenal man Bernard Cribbins is. Sadly, no longer with us, but what a character of Wilfred Mott. Every time, every second he's on screen, it brings a smile to your face. And the connection that he had with, obviously, both Donna, but especially the Doctor, that I think very much, given the end of time, he could have very much carried a full season with 10. It was just lovely to see them both together on screen as companion and Doctor instead of, side cameo, supporting actor. And I just love the man to bits, and every single moment that he was on screen is a pure joy to watch. And I think a whole season with Wilfred Mott, absolutely bananas and amazing at once.
Nice. I think we're all on board with that.
Yeah.
There was no disagreements or shaking of heads there. Bernard Cribbins, what
What
a
a guy.
Oh, bless his memory, yeah. Okay, Maria. Any Doctors that you feel should have had the chop sooner, or conversely should have stuck around, in your opinion?
Ooh, I wouldn't want to give any of them the chop. I'm going to tell Jordan off about Tom Baker because I love Tom, and yes, the stories he had, some of them, yeah, he did play up in them. To be fair, and I don't like some of the seasons, but I loved season 18. Actually, I've been kind of watching some of the stories recently, and I love season 18. It's a more serious Tom, and those excesses that he have been kind of calmed down a little bit. So I wouldn't say I would want any of them to not stay less. The ones that I would want to stay longer, classic Who, I would say Peter Davison, because I think his last season was relatively strong. So I would have liked to have seen him stay for one more series. And I think he was getting some good stories, so that would have been good. In terms of New Who, I would say, I'm surprised nobody said this, Christopher Eccleston. I think Christopher Eccleston needed more time. I mean, he had one series that was fantastic. He needed more. I mean, I think if he'd stayed another series, we wouldn't have had all that the love kind of angle with Rose and the 10th Doctor. That I don't think that would have materialised. I think that would have been stamped out probably a little bit, because I think Rose might have left at the end of the second series anyway. If he'd done a second series, she might have left with that anyway. So David Tennant would have had a different companion. Maybe he would have had Martha, and she would have been a different kind of character. So Christopher Eccleston, I would want to stay longer. And also Peter Capaldi, just because I loved that last series that he did with Pearl Mackie. I thought that's where he found his groove. I thought that was where he kind of really shone. It was like he'd worked out who the character should be. So I would have loved to have seen a bit more of that. And I think he really found his groove in that series with Pearl Mackie. So I would have loved to have seen another series. And he was magnificent in that last series. There's lots of, I love a lot of the stories in that series. All the shenanigans with Clara. That went on a bit too long, so I would have liked to have seen him kind of redeemed a little bit as a character and had another series. And I love Peter Capaldi. I think he brought drama. He brought everything to that role. I couldn't take my eyes off him when I was watching Peter Capaldi. I would watch his face, but all those little micro expressions he's got. He's just so good in the role. And he's fantastic. Yeah. Those two, I would say, from the new series.
Good shout. That's a good shout, Maria. Yeah, and I think I would agree with you on the newer Who stuff. So I think, if I had to pick a Doctor from newer Doctor, it would absolutely be Chris Eccleston. I think if we got another season with him, it would have been amazing. And then from classic Who, the obvious one has got to be McCoy. I'm a bit biased with that, as he's my classic Doctor, but I do feel like, we've heard the stories a million times from Andrew Cartmel and some of the other people who were working on the show at the time, that if they had have got another season or two, we would have seen a much darker version of the Doctor through McCoy, and they had some great ideas and stuff. So the obvious one for me is McCoy, but I think I'd also agree with Maria on Davison. I think he's not always, not that it matters, but, if you ask 100 Who fans to rank your classic Doctors, he doesn't normally appear in top threes and stuff like that. But I do feel like if he had another one at least, he could have had a few cracking stories there. So, I think I would agree with Davison maybe having a bit more, because he did 3, right? He did 3 seasons, I'm pretty sure. So a 4th one would have been good. Right, okay, just as a very quick fire round for each of you, so stand by I don't want any in and ahhing, I don't want any hold on a second, this is like, I'm going to ask you this or that and you have to answer immediately. So Matt, you're up first. So this is going to be Ian or Barbara?
In context, I would say if
no.
Ian.
There is no words. It's just the answers from the questions. Ian or Barbara?
Ian, because he is a king.
Gotcha. Capaldi or Eccleston?
Eccleston.
Sarah Jane or Susan?
Sarah Jane, hands down.
And Captain Jack or Craig Owens?
Oh, Captain Jack.
Very good. Harry, quick fire. Are you ready?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Right. Ryan Sinclair or Melanie Bush?
Melanie Bush, 100%.
Okay. Rose Tyler or Harry Sullivan?
Rose.
Okay. Tegan or Mickey Smith?
Tegan. Let's add it.
Tegan. And lastly, Sylvester McCoy or Patrick Troughton?
Sylvester McCoy.
Good answer.
He's
Jordan, you're up. Sarah Jane or Sarah Jane or Nissa?
Sarah Jane. I love Nissa, but Sarah Jane.
Wow. Didn't last long, did that? Hey? Okay. Ace or Wilfred Mott?
Ace.
His little noises. Right. Bill Potts or Lethbridge Stewart?
Lethbridge Stewart.
And lastly,
I love Bill, but
But which Lethbridge Stewart, Gary?
Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart.
Of course.
Of course, yeah. And lastly, William Hartnell or David Tennant.
David Tennant, because he was the one when I started watching it. So
Cool. No
that
worries.
was the
Maria,
hardest one. That was the hardest round.
you took it. You took it though. It's all good.
I
Maria,
mean, I thought
you're up.
mine
Quick
were
fire.
really, really tame. I'm not going to lie, yours were hard, Jordan.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me.
Maria's ready. Here we go.
Go on.
River Song or Ian Chesterton.
Ian Chesterton. No hesitation.
Joe Grant or Adam Mitchell.
Joe Grant. Come on.
Amy Pond or Romana 2.
God, I hate both of them. No, I don't hate both of them, but yeah, I've got a dislike from both of them. Oh, Amy,
right, okay. Second to last one. Jamie McCrimmon or Yasmin Khan.
Oh, Jamie McCrimmon. In a kilt, all the way.
See, guys. See. And lastly, I'm trying to throw a decent one at you. Paul McGann, or this might be easy for you if you don't like the film. Paul McGann or John Pertwee.
Oh gosh. Oh God, that's an unfair one. I like both of them.
It's not unfair.
Paul McGann.
Paul McGann over John Pertwee.
They're both
I've heard it
completely
all now.
different. What can I say?
No, I'm joking. That's cool. All right, guys. So the quick fire round turned up some surprises, just like your views on the companions and doctors who should have left or should have stayed. This has been an incredible insight into your brains. I can't believe it. I honestly thought I was going to have the same answers thrown at me, the names that we hear often about this stuff, but that's been honestly fascinating that you felt that way. Unless you've got any other bombshells you want to drop, I think we'll wrap it there for the August roundtable. Any final thoughts, anything that you want to just alienate yourselves from our listeners even further with?
Did we hear Harry's comments about Sutekh? I was going to say, Harry, did you share what you thought about Sutekh? Come on, I want to open that can of worms. Come on,
I thought I dodged that bullet.
You had to do it right at the end.
I'm
actually really tired. I want to go to bed. No, I'm joking.
Spotlight's on Harry. Here we go.
Look.
The
thing is, right, I really like the fact that Sutekh came back and he was, a massive mutt-like creature, and he was very threatening in that sense, but all he did was just sit and cuddle that TARDIS like a little cuddly toy. Like, what was that all about? Like, Sutekh, the god of death, just like, I'm just here hugging my TARDIS, and I wonder who Ruby's mum is. Absolute codswallop. That's my thoughts.
Just wait for the plush to come out at Christmas.
What, Sutekh or the TARDIS?
No, Sutekh. There'll be one. There will be.
Yeah, they should do.
Is that your lot, Harry? Is that it? That's your disdain at Sutekh, right? Okay.
Yeah,
quick question.
Disdain at how they handled Sutekh in the finale.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So,
having
quick
rewatched
question,
Pyramids of Mars recently, brilliant story, great character, but kind of ruined it.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. Do you like how he was portrayed in that story? The classic Egyptian outfit and all that stuff.
Yeah,
you thought that was cool. Right.
Yeah,
right.
and I mean, the saving grace is that they got Gabriel Wolf to come back to do the voice. That was awesome. But unfortunately, that's not enough to save it for me.
Tut, tut, tut. Mr. Davies, you pulled a Chibbers on us, basically.
Yeah,
The
Russell.
Russ. I didn't mean that, Russell. We know you listen to every episode. We've got a lot of respect.
I'll still pay £60 for the Steelbook. Yeah.
And the Sutekh plush is probably coming. So, every cloud.
In all fairness, I would probably buy it.
You'd buy the plush.
Yeah.
Okay, on that rather telling bombshell, we're going to wrap there, dudes. That is going to be the August Roundtable.
Woohoo! Yay!
Thank you for listening to another Roundtable. That was August's entry into our growing list of Roundtable episodes. So if you've not listened before, if this is your first time listening, then make sure you follow and subscribe to the podcast. You get myself and my regular co-host Adam. We talk about Doctor Who and review all the stuff each week that goes out on a Friday, and then we get this lot once a month around a virtual table to chat anything to do with Doctor Who. And there's been some very cool, very fascinating stuff coming out of these guys this evening about companions and doctors, and who should have been fired and thrown into the street and who should have stayed on and continued their role. So that was fascinating. Next month for September, it's normally like the third-ish week of the month. We typically do these, so as I said, make sure you're following so you don't miss out on these once a month. You can also listen for free and check out all the articles and reviews and convention roundups and all that stuff from these guys over on the website, which is bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk, and you can link off to the socials there and chat Doctor Who throughout the week. And there's a link to our free Discord server as well. If you want to chat to these guys, get some more thoughts on their views on Doctor Who and all that stuff, then you can do that over on the Discord. Right, we're going to do the outro in the same order as the intro. Let's see if we get this right. Until next month for September's Roundtable. My name's Gary.
My name is Ari.
My name's Matt.
My name's Maria.
And my name's Jordan.
And remember,
The